Hey, this is Tyson Nash, and you're listening to Missin Curfew.
What's Missin Curfew? It's when you kind of play guilty, but you show up.
How nice is a green light on the road, though? No practice tomorrow, no plane, just go.
Scotty Upshaw in the clear, and he scores! Right in front, scores!
A few laughs, a little bit of fun, and obviously a lot of hockey talk.
You're listening to Missin Curfew.
What's up, lads?
Up, dog! Fella! Friday. Best day of the week.
Sure is, bud.
Don't have to fucking work anymore. I like watching
happening.
But the best thing about
Pets' heads are falling off.
the best thing about Thursday, Friday regular season is I know that we don't have a show till Tuesday, so like I don't have to watch hockey till Saturday. But playoff time, I want more games. All these series ended at 5.
I know.
We got one game tonight. Bruins, Leafs, 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock tilt.
What am I going to do after?
Game 6.
What am I going to do after?
I don't know. I thought maybe tonight would be a good night to get the crew together, maybe watch a game together. I feel like I've watched all these games by myself. My girl hates me. And this would lead me into just one funny topic. But I was talking to Brento. Oh, I'm sure she does, actually. But I was talking to Brento last night. We were watching the Oil game. I like to FaceTime him in. I make sure that we're synced, so we're both watching at the same time. And sure as shit, he's drinking old fashions. I'm drinking wine. And,
Attaboy, Brento.
And so he fucking made me laugh. He's like, this is basically, if you can get through the first round of NHL playoffs without getting divorced, good on you. Because he's like, there's no chance wives look at their husbands throughout the course of March Madness leading into the first round of NBA and NHL playoffs. In our case here, we don't really watch much NBA, but there's games. Yeah, I watched it last night. It was good. And they go fishing, so good.
It's awesome.
I'm watching games till fucking 10 o'clock, and Christina's like having to put the kids down, having to fucking clean up after dinner. And I'm cooking, so I'm doing a lot, I'm chipping in.
Yeah, listen, if you're cooking, this is the way, Mac Miller's turned herself into a pretty nice little cook. She cooks, I clean. And I keep a pretty nice place. I got to take after my dad for that, but I don't mind cleaning the kitchen after. I get in there, I'm on a mission, 15 minutes, boom, 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 done. But I don't have 2 kids that I'm trying to put down to bed either.
Yeah.
I got one mission, and then I'm back to the couch.
I know.
Back to the couch.
And when you cook for 4, and you got to have them set up at the table, and the fucking little, there's chicken everywhere. Dog needs to be fed. It's a full fucking thing. And so as he said that, I'm like, does it get any better, like, throughout the next round? Like, no, there's still games on late.
Well, listen, what he's saying is the first round's unbelievable.
First round's
for
great.
A single guy, right?
Yeah.
I've had Mac Miller in town this week, but the start of the playoffs, like, that weekend, that Saturday, Sunday, the Sunday morning, the first game of Florida Tampa came out 9:30 out here.
It's nice.
Fuck, I got some Mickey D's brekkie, like large orange juice. I was just like, here we go.
Large OJ.
And it was just four. It was just a whole day, 4 games, just bing, 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 which I love. The thing, and I get it, Uppy, but like I hate, and they try to do a good enough job of like one game starts at 4, and the next one will start at 4:30, and then 5, and I get it, but it's like, it sucks when the games overlap because you want to watch every game, but you got 3 TVs out there. That's a nice touch.
Yeah. And for the first round, that's the best because you can flick on, you can get the NBA game on with it. You get the 3-bagger. Or you go Fox News. Or you get one, or you do one that's, what would be nice is the ticker. Like
ticker tape parade.
At Madison Club, for example, they got like the 6-screen TV, one big one, 3, 4 on the sides. And then on the top is like the Vegas lines, like the updated lines. So it'll say, Edmonton, LA series
over.
-450.
Fucking over.
That's
LA, say over.
Recent lines. But imagine you just getting these updated DraftKings lines above your TV on this fucking sick like LED screen. You can fire live bets in.
Yeah, well, when we bring a DraftKings sportsbook to Newport Beach, we'll make sure that's fucking
absolutely
fucking just humming. Yeah. We watched one period together at my house. You came over.
It was nice.
You jumped on the FaceTime. I'm like, look at this beauty.
No, it was.
I'm like, look, this is typical Upshaw here. He comes over. He's like, let's watch the period. Boom. I love Noah, but you're like, I got Noah on here. I'm like, this guy's this guy's a beauty.
There's only a certain few people I would answer the phone for during a game like that. You'd be one.
Well, I would never FaceTime you during a game unless it was like, Uppy, I got to talk to you about something that happened in the game.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't bug you.
No, I know, but I just there's certain few people I would do that for. Noah's one of them. So Noah, just maybe for next time, don't text me because I was with Opes.
Kyle, I need another pen. Trainer, left side. Kyle, please help me. My stick broke.
Broken twig.
My twig broke. Listen, I'll tell you what, and shout out to Todd Pickup and Tom Riley and the boys at A&O. Thank you, Morgan. What a girl. So they go down to A&O and watch the games, right?
Yeah.
T-Rex, Riles, Schmoozy, and Picky goes in there, and they get their Pacificos going, and it's all good. Well, and I love going down there with them, but I go down there, they got the same kind of upshell setup, right? Pick's got every game on every TV, and I'm in there, and then the period ends, I go, what the fuck just happened? I missed it all. Either I was talking or I was watching this game. So to me, the three TVs doesn't solve my issue for me. I need to focus on the game, you know? I think it's just what would you call that? Is it like
what if it's 2 games?
That's why I wish in a perfect world that one game wouldn't start till the other one ended. You'd be up till 6 in the morning playing.
See, I'm all about the time efficiency, right? I like the 2 games, but just bang, bang.
I know how you live your lifestyle.
Totally. I like it. Like, hit me with it. Let's go.
You text Tom Riley, you're like, I'm all over the map. I'm like, yeah, gambling and such is life. You're like, I'm all over the map.
Well, yesterday we talked about
My luck's turned.
We talked about first period overs.
My luck's turned.
And I'm thinking, what better way to do a first period over than this Dallas Vegas Golden Knights who, if you read the articles, the coaches want to kill each other. The fucking players need to be more physical. So you're thinking, okay, they're going to come out and start running heads, a couple penalties, power plays, goals. Sure as shit, it's 2-1 within the first 8 minutes. And it's like 3-2 in the first period. And we're like, fuck, I forgot to put it in.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Riles is clipping. Once again, we talked about Dick Pickup. Unbelievable service yesterday for the Pickup family and Dick. And I was talking to T-Rex there, and I said, what are you clipping along at these first period over? Like 6, 7 out of 10, which says, if you're a gambler out there, those are good odds. He's like, I'm probably clipping a little bit higher than that. So, fellas, if you're looking for a little bit of a, I don't want to say a sure thing because there's no such thing, but these first period overs seem to be hitting. They come out, they just get 2 right away, it seems like.
Not when I bet them.
No, me either.
Not when I bet them.
No, I know. I'm the cooler when it comes to first period overs. Every time I take one, they don't hit, and every time I miss out. So I'm taking one for the team when it comes to Riles and Schmoots. I just sit back and don't do it. But Updog, first thing first here, our intro on this Fella Friday. Fella, listen, buddy, a lot of things I love doing with you. At the top of that list is going to a My Morning Jacket show. And we're going to get to see one Sunday. Jimmy! Redondo Beach, My Morning Jacket. You don't have your ticket yet. I wish you had your ticket. That concerns me a little bit. But are you fired up to see Jimmy?
Yeah, I sure am. Sure am. Sunday night. Fleet Foxes, Trey Anastasia, the dude from Fish, and then My Morning Jacket, led by our boy Jim James. Listen, Redondo Beach, Beach Life Festival, never been. They've had a great lineup the last couple of years. They had the Black Crows last year on a reunion tour. If you look, though, it's like a great mix of like old school punk, 90s rock bands, and then to now our modern day fucking Jim James, My Morning Jacket, just the best.
Black
best
Crows.
live show you can
Black Crows are sick. Eh?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm pumped, bro. It's gonna be great.
I driving back from the desert on what day was that? Monday, and the whole way home, Mac Miller's never seen My Morning Jacket, so I just pumped Jimmy for 3 hours straight, and I'm like, she's like, I love this song. I'm like, wait till you see that song live. Like, I know you like listen to it now, like Victory Dance. I go, wait till you see Upshaw bouncing around. And the energy in this place, like when Jimmy comes on and he's live, there's nothing better.
Yeah. Mark Didia, shout out to Mark Didia, manager of the Black Crows and of Mark LaBelle and the boys, Dirty Honey. But he hit me up and was like, "Hey, I'm cheering for my Kings tonight, and are you guys going to be at Redondo?" Have no question, that you guys aren't. But shout out to Mark. He's a big avid Missin Curfew fan and My Morning Jacket fan. So he was an OG Bonnaroo guy too for us.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
So they play Redondo,
yep,
and then they're playing Ball Rock up in Napa Memorial Day weekend, which I thought about going to, but I pulled the plug because it was getting a little pricey. And then they're going to San Fran. The reason I'm looking this up is because every time I go to a My Morning Jacket concert with you, I'm like, Uppy, where are they going next? Let's just keep following Jimmy.
Totally.
Let's just keep following Jimmy. Life's good when you're following Jimmy. Right?
I bet, bro.
It's unbelievable. So looking forward to that. If you're in the area, don't take Updog's tickets, but if you got a chance to see My Morning Jacket live, it's unbelievable. Last but not least here before we move on, I'm wearing this tarp. This was my slogan when I played. I'm not going to say I came up with it, but I really used it a lot in my career, rest is a weapon. And then 97, after last night's game, somebody asked him this and that, and he said rest is a weapon, Updog.
Yeah, he did.
And Princey posted it, and it made me just feel like Connor McDavid just said rest is a weapon. Even the best player in the world, who everyone talks about his work ethic, knows that this time of year, Updog, rest is a weapon.
Yeah, I'm sure the hamster in his brain's going a little bit smoother than the one over there in yours, but he's not wrong, and neither are you, bud. Come playoff time, you win a round in 4 or 5 games like the Oilers just did, rest becomes a weapon. And they're going to watch tonight. They're going to watch, the Vancouver Canucks and Nashville Predators battle it out in a pivotal Game 6, and they'll be, licking their chops at who's next, because they're a team on a mission. Watched them play live last week, and watching Connor and Leon do their thing. I mean, Connor, a goal, 11 assists in a first round of playoffs. We're not surprised, but, it's hockey played at its finest right now.
Big time. And, he's obviously saying this time of year, I used rest as a weapon in November. We'd win a big game. I'm like, Coach, rest is a weapon. Day off tomorrow. We don't need to come in here tomorrow. And the coach would be like, Trotsy or whatever, be like, fucking November, Opes. Like, we're practicing tomorrow. I'm like, fuck, rest is a weapon, boys. I'm telling you, save the legs. She's a long year. We're going to be fucking in May, and you're going to be like, I wish we didn't practice in November. Yeah. I wish I had that day off.
I mean, I don't know. What is it? It's end of April, getting into May. The boys, it's the snow's melting. I mean, are they going to go tee it up there just to get a mid-round tee up? Or?
I think probably they're too scared that someone would see them golfing up. Yeah. I don't think McDavid's golfing. No. I think he's probably sitting in a higher bearing chamber like you.
He should be.
He's probably not listening to the same podcast you're listening to, but I would say
how down the rabbit hole do you want to get?
I would say
rounds.
I would say Connor. He's just going to put the feet up and get the body worked on.
Couple releases.
Yeah,
he should.
No, you need it. You need it.
Totally agree.
You need it.
Just the deep tissue massages, get the feet. I don't know, man. Go tee it up though if you want.
Hey, shout out to our boy. I know you love this guy too, Brandon Walker, Nashville Predators.
Oh yeah.
There's a picture that is up in the Vancouver press box. And I've had a few guys text me. Gary Lawless sent it to me. It's a picture of me and Burrows after a game giving a high five, and it's in the press box. And Walk sent it to me, and he said Trotsy walked by the picture, I guess the other night before Game 5. He's like, looked at it, he's like, fucking Obi. Fucking Obi. And I was like, tell Trotsy that me and Updog say what's up, and we're always pulling for you boys. And he said Trotsy's killing it as a GM. He said he's really embracing the role. Look at what he's done this year. No one picked – I mean, I picked Nashville to be a wild card 2 team because I thought of the Ryan O'Reilly factor. But, man, they won, 16 straight? Yeah. And, I mean, look at what they're doing to the Canucks here.
Yeah, I look back on that as 2 big decisions he made, one being Andrew Burnett as a head coach, and the next was signing Ryan O'Reilly to a 4-year deal when there was probably a lot of teams looking at him, but no one ready to pay him that money. And it's worked out. And now they're going to Game 6 with a chance in their own building tonight to get back right in it. Force a Game 7.
Tomorrow night. Yeah, tonight. Fellow Friday. You're right.
Fellow Friday.
Listen, have you seen this thing that's on ESPN now for the 30 for 30 called Saving Sakic?
See the headlines with that stupid fucking commercial that I always hear those guys singing that. I hate it.
It's a great. You got to watch it though. It's a great story. No, it's fine. No, I know the commercials. They all suck on
so bad.
But Pierre Lacroix, who we lost, but I know his son Eric Lacroix, who was a great guy to me, who gave me my 3-year deal in Denver. Every time I see him, he's like, "Don't forget, I gave you 3 years." I said, "I know, but you didn't give me a fucking no move." So Pierre Lacroix said, when I was building championship teams, chemistry and mojo in the dressing room was the most important thing. You had to get along with these people. You had to have good people around you. And I was like, yeah, that's what it is. And you bring in a guy like Ryan O'Reilly to that locker room, instantly your room gets better. Like, I don't understand why some of these GMs don't make that. You need skill, you need talent, but you need guys to like each other. We talk about the LA Kings. We're going to talk about them. When they were winning their cups, their whole team hung out. All 20 fucking guys getting drunk in Manhattan Beach. You need to have that upside. That's important.
Couldn't agree more, brother. I look back at some of the best teams I played on and the guys I learned from, and they all kind of wore that on their sleeve from my Nashville days of the Hartnell and Leggies and Kimmo Timonen. And then basically shipping that Nashville team and some of the core pieces to Philly. And Philly, you know this, you used to play against us saying, you guys look like you're having so much fucking fun. You fight for each other. You guys fucking go out together.
You drink, you fuck, and you fight. That's what you guys did there. I was like, this is a good squad.
And then even to my early days in Phoenix where, Donor was our captain, but we brought in like Lombardi and Brandon Prust, and we had, Biz was on our squad, and it was just Derek Morris, Yandel, like those are good guys. We all hung out, and boom, playoffs. Hadn't made the playoffs in fucking 10 years in Nashville, and boom, we're in the playoffs. Anyway, so just you look back, you're bang on.
Yeah.
How GMs don't realize that, and then you deal with analytics, and whether this is like a situation for younger GMs who feel like, oh, we have we have an advantage because our algorithms are better than other teams' algorithms. Well, you didn't fucking probably play the game. You don't know what an algorithm is when, your team is in the dumps because some guy's wife fucking cheated on him, and the guys in the room don't know how to fucking get him out of his slump.
It's like the captain from Goon, eh? He's like, my marriage is in the toilet. Fucking marriage is in the toilet.
Think about that, though. What if a guy's going through some hardship for the year, or a guy's struggling and having some, issues with substance abuse, or, he doesn't know how to handle the coach. You want guys like Ryan O'Reilly in the room, or Alex Steen, or
glue guys,
or Lupul, or guys that you're just like, fuck, man, I need to just clear my head. You got an afternoon to hang out with me, like it's talk shit. Anyway, you need that, but come this time of year is when it really gets put on. Look at Stammer, for example. You listen to Brisebois talk about, who Stammer is as a person, and that he was able to elevate his game the last, say 2.5 months since the trade deadline when nothing got done with an extension.
Yeah, he's like, fuck, I better start playing hard here.
Well, he did. And he started to play probably his best hockey in the last 5-6 years.
I agree.
But not only that, this Brisebois talks about what he was able to do away from the ice and how, like, his leadership qualities and him as a person went, sky high to just, that's who he is. And that's who, great hockey players and great leaders and fucking glue guys, that's what they have. They all have that.
Yeah, 100%. And Stammer is one of those guys beyond belief. So hopefully he sticks there in the Bay Area. I know everyone wants that, but glue guys, fellas, we'll be right back. A Missin Curfew. Missin Curfew, dog of the week. Listen, both these teams lost in their Game 4 performances, but both these guys were dogs. I'll go first up, dog. The big Russian ox, I'm going to call him. Nikita Zadorov, Big Z, came down the wing. Fuck, I didn't know if it was, Zadorov or Quinn Hughes coming down there. He's coming down the wing. He can move for a big guy. He's got good feet. Comes down. I don't know exactly what Soros was doing on it, but rips it home. He's played physical. He was chirping the refs after the game, which, listen, I love anyone that wants to stir it up come playoff time and be like, listen, everyone's got to be accountable for. Big Z, keep it going. You've been good for these guys. That's why he's the Missin Curfew dog of the week for me, up dog.
I don't want to throw this around lightly, but to me, watching those games and watching him take on this role with the Canucks kind of looks like a poor man's or dog man's, like Victor Hedman. Like, fucking plays big and he's good stick, and then skating up the ice like that and going fucking up over the shoulder from the fucking goal line.
He's got more offensive ability.
That's impressive.
Like. Yeah,
that's impressive.
And he's good too. He makes good little, like, sometimes if he tries to like do too much, you're like, hey, big fella. And I know this from, when I played. Easy, so slower down here, but who do you think you are? But when he plays within himself and does his little D-to-Ds, but he can jump in the play, man. He's got good feet.
Look how big he is. It's fucking just, I imagine being that big and trying to skate around.
I would have made $100 million.
My dog of the week, big fella, is a guy last night in a pivotal game 5, Vegas-Dallas, back and forth match. But William Carrier, you know what, battled injuries coming back in the season, Obes. They missed him big time. This guy's got playoff experience. He's been there. He's a champ. He's playing with Roy and Barbashev.
I know.
On the fourth line. I don't know why that.
I didn't love that move.
But last night's goal, like, big goal to get these guys tie game. He gets the puck, brings it hard to the net from behind, right out front, taps it in. But every time this guy's got the puck on his stick, and you see this because you're a fucking guys guy, he's carrying the puck in, he's holding on to it, he's making a quick play, he's being hard to play against, he's finishing his checks. So if they want to come out of this series, they're going back to Vegas with their backs up against it, and he's going to be a big part.
You know what, man?
He's going to be a big part.
I agree.
I know you're not feeling good. But.
No, listen, when you came up with this, Updog came up with the dog of the week. He said a fourth line guy that's in and out of the lineup, that doesn't, and not that this guy's in and out of the lineup when he's healthy, but he's been injured. He came back. That was a dog of the week fucking goal. You get on the forecheck. Billy Quinn's asked me, he's at the game. He's like, how did Ottinger let that goal? And I'm like, Will Carrier just fucking willed that in.
Willed it in.
He just hit the guy. He wrapped it around, and he wasn't taking no for an answer, man. He just fucking got it in there. I'm like, that is why Updog came up with this dog of the week. And Will Carrier, who I love, they need more of that. I'm concerned. They just don't look hungry. And I don't blame them, Ups, because if I was coming off a Stanley Cup winning year, that I had a hell of a summer, it's been a long year, how bad do I really want it? How bad do I really want it? I don't know. I've never been in that situation, But human nature tells me that you can say, oh, yeah, boys, you want to do all the right things. We got this. But is it in here and in your ball sack? The last couple games, it doesn't look like the Vegas Golden Knights of last year. And that, to me, boys, I'm never going to get on like human nature ups, but that's what the difference has been lately. Yeah. Dallas looks like we are not getting taken out.
Well, this series is funny to watch and look at from the outside in because the first two games
I want to go to Vegas.
The first two games shocked everyone, right? You had Vegas go in with Mark Stone back in the lineup, with Petro back in the lineup. All of a sudden, quick goal, play with the lead, find a way to grind out two greasy road wins to go back home. And that's when you, as a fucking hockey guy, when you talk about putting the pedal on the metal and the foot on the gas, Vegas let up. Wow. Dallas realized, holy shit, our season could be over in 2 games. We need to pour it all out there, and they did. And they, for 3 games, played nearly perfect hockey. They're great goaltending. They found ways to score. They shut them down late in the game. Vegas needs to understand that their late pushes in these games, their late pushes are the way they need to start the game. They need to start the game by going out and fucking playing the way they do in the last 10 minutes because they are a completely different hockey team.
Yeah. You watched Game 3, right?
Yeah.
See, I did not watch Game 3. Now, in Game 4, Game 3, did Vegas come out with some jam, or did they think it was going to be over and it looked easy?
Game 3,
like Thompson stood on his head from what I wrote.
Beyond, there was Sagan had 2 breakaways. There were power plays. There were saves that Thompson should never have made. Like I was like, who is this goalie?
So Dallas was more desperate.
And desperate's a great word.
Yeah, and I think in Game 4 ups, when it started out, Vegas thought, okay, I think they made it 2-1, right? I think it went out 2-1 Vegas, and they kind of thought, oh, this is going to be easy or whatever, and then it went 2-2, 3-2.
Yeah.
And then in the third period, like you said, they fucking played desperate, but if they would have came out in Game 4 with that desperation, I think they would have won that hockey game. And last night, they I mean, listen, a couple missed, like Theo, terrible pinch. Like, what? Don't go there. Like, don't go there. Like, Ikes turns it over at the blue line. Good stick by their defenseman. Just hold the dots. Like, they're just making little mistakes that they didn't make last year. So we're gonna move into Get This Guy a Labatt Blue Up. Oh.
Presented by Labatt Blue Light, the pristine Pilsner, fellas. Enjoy your beers together so you can live life to the power of we. Always enjoy responsibly. Beer, Labatt USA in Buffalo, New York. Sounds of summer.
Hey, speaking of Buffalo, I saw Lindy Ruff coming in getting his new credentials and stuff. I saw Lindy Ruff getting his new credentials and stuff up.
Do you think his name's really Lindy?
I don't know, but he seemed like a beauty. And I was like, hey, they're like, hey, Lindy, welcome back, bud. And they're like, we better get you a new pitcher. And he's like, can you use the one from 1979 when I played here? And the guy's like, Lindy, we can't do that. And they're like, welcome back, coach. It's official. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Kevin Adams, is that his name? Kevin Adams knows he's bringing back the old beauty and everything's going to.
Beauty.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you like the Gwenville, like I had a chance to chat, and they're just beauties, right? Like the guys love them, and they're fucking, they just want to sit back and have a whiskey.
I would love to have a blue light with Lindy Ruff.
With Lindy Ruff?
I would love to have a blue, but Joel Quenneville, I'd love to have 12 blue lights.
Yeah,
Lindy Ruff, fucking let's have 6-pack after the game.
I agree.
I think we should maybe go, I was Matty Bazell at DraftKings. He's like, we got to get two live appearances in the fall. I said, well, I'm just throwing this one out. USC, Michigan at the Big House. And why don't we come in for the Sabres home opener? And we'll fucking go to Chippewa Street and maybe we'll go in to see Lindy after the game, eh? Are we welcomed in Buffalo? I chirp Buffalo a lot. But are we welcome there?
Probably more than Columbus.
Oh, Columbus, I'm welcome in Columbus.
I don't know if you are.
I am.
Where are you not welcome then?
Everywhere else. Where am I not welcome? Calgary? No, I can't tell that. I don't know. Ups. A lot of
places. Where careers go to die up,
dog. Canada? I'm not allowed back in Canada after this podcast. I don't think. Up, dog. Get this guy Labatt Blue.
Joseph Wall, fella. The Wallinator.
Man,
gets the start for the Leafs in Game 5. And wow, did he stand on his head. Came out, get the W. Couple big saves in overtime. I mean, a minute before old Nyes put the puck in the net, he makes a big save. Listen, I don't know if Toronto's going to be able to get it done, but they got some confidence playing in front of Big Joe.
Dude, listen,
Big Joe
played great. You want to talk about desperation? If the Leafs played like they did in Game 5, so I hammered the Bruins every which way, money line, puck line, fucking this is over. No Matthews. and the Leafs come out with some jam, and I'm like, oh, I think text you in loops. I go, fuck, the Leafs are buzzing, boys. They had the puck the entire game, and it's kind of what I envisioned Uppy as this. That's why I took the Leafs, because I thought the Leafs' high-end talent was that much better that the Bees would be chasing the game, chasing the series. I don't know what's going to happen tonight in Game 6, but God, I want to see a Game 7 now. I want to see the Bruins have to go back into their barn with the stank of last year's Game 7 still in the TD Garden. I want to see 7 now. But in typical Toronto Maple Leaf fashion, I'm sure they're going to let me down and lose in Game 6, and all that Game 5 will be a waste. But they played unbelievable, Uppy. They played unbelievable Game 5.
They really did. But you know what it's like? Without the confidence of your goaltender, you don't come out like that. Yeah. You don't have that desperation. You don't have the confidence. And, a big reason why we're getting this guy a Labatt blue light is because he was able to make the saves when they counted and put the Leafs in a spot to go back home and at least play one more game.
100%. Another thing you can say about how much talent the Leafs have up front is that you take a 69 goal scorer out of their lineup, and they kind of just kept on trucking. Domi went up there and played with, Marner and Bertuzzi and Tavares and Nylander and Nyes or whoever. I'm like, yeah, they missed Matthews, but fuck, they still got 2 pretty good lines even without him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Get this guy Labatt blue, my abs, baby. Talk about rest as a weapon. They're sitting in the Mile High City, sunny, put the feet up, boys. Egg and IV in ya. Mikko Rantanen, 2 goals in Game 5. Uppy, he looked like the Mikko Rantanen before Ekholm fucking knocked him, put him back to Finland. He looked like the big boy, the big moose. He played great. If the Avs have any chance to go to where I want them to go, is where I picked them to go at the start of the year to the Stanley Cup final, they need the Mikko Rantanen. He's back, and he looked unbelievable to me. So get that guy a Labatt blue. And then last but not least, up dog, Seth Jarvis, who, is an absolute beauty kid. Every sound clip that comes out about this guy's unbelievable. He played great in Game 5. I think he had 2 goals and assist. Plays hard. Not a big guy, but plays big. You know what I mean? That's what I love about this guy, up dog.
Love him.
So Seth Jarvis, get yourself a Labatt blue fella. Carolina too, man. I'm telling you. Carolina.
So Carolina and Rangers are both sitting there just ready to rock.
Yeah. Should they start? The NBA goes, you could start round 2 when round 1's still going on. But
maybe they could play one game, right?
I don't know.
I'd ask them.
For me, that I want playoff hockey to keep going, I want them to wait. But it's something that I'm sure if both teams are sitting there ready to rock, why not get it going?
I think if the barn's ready to go, I think these players, it should be kind of on them. It should be the NHL going, all right, let's space out this round. Let's give you an extra day in between games 2 and 3, and let's give you an extra day between 4 and 5.
Yeah,
I think it's a great. It's probably something that should be put on the whiteboard and ironed out.
Ironed out. I like that. Speaking of iron out these T-shirts, buddy. Up dog. It's Adidas Tea Times,
presented by our friends at Adidas, made for wherever you play.
Oh yeah, we got the PG Championship right around the corner. Where they playing? They're playing in Valhalla, I think, Kentucky. Rory won there last time.
That sounds like an old Viking.
It's an old wood ship.
Actually, Valhalla is the Viking
it's
heaven.
An old wood ship.
That's the
San
heaven.
Diego's. It's an old wood ship.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you ever see the show Vikings? What a show.
I never watched.
But going to Valhalla is like when you die a spiritual death for a Viking, like in war, you go to Valhalla.
Wow. So what is it? Just broads and beers in Valhalla, or what? Blue lights everywhere.
Blue lights and CCM twigs, and just a bunch of babes.
Brand new Titleist golf balls.
Viking
everywhere.
Babes.
Yeah, wide fairways.
Yeah,
fast
greens.
But soft greens.
I agree.
Crown Royal everywhere. Oh God, take me to Valhalla.
So nice.
I'll tell you who's not in Valhalla right now. It's the LA Kings, although they're in fucking Manhattan Beach, which isn't a bad place too. But Tea Times, baby. Listen, I love Rob Blake. I've got to know Blakey when we used to go up there for the 6-man volleyball tournaments. I love Jared Stoll. I love what the Kings organized represents because they represent what we just talked about with glue guys. However, we all make mistakes, and Blakey, I think the Pierre-Luc Dubois contract is going to be a big, big mistake. We'll see how he plays next year, and maybe, it was his first year there. He wasn't settled in. We'll see how that goes. But Updog, their defense is not good enough, and they need to figure out their goaltending situation. I mean, to think that you could go into the season and you're going to have to go through the Edmonton Oilers, the Vegas Golden Knights, now the Vancouver Canucks have offense, and you think, and this is no disrespect to Cam Talbot, that you think Cam Talbot can take you to where you want to go? Come on, boys. You're too good of hockey guys in there. They got to shore up the back end. They need a goaltender up dog. Victor Arvidsson is a free agent, a guy that I'm sure a lot of teams will be calling about. But listen, they got as good as forwards as anyone. But to me, Blakey's got some work to do here. I wish him the best. Blakey, I love you, I respect you, but I just think that PLD contract up, dog, it's going to sting for a couple years.
Yeah, it sure is. And I think what we should think about from the outside in is just where they are with their core guys, right? The Kopitar, Doughty. They're signed. Kopitar signed through 26-27. Doughty making a whopping 11 bananas. Good for you, Dowds. Is signed through 25-26. Does that mean that Blakey and Robitaille and the boys, the brass up there, are they there for those guys to finish through? Like, do they make a change beforehand? It'd be interesting enough. Now, that Pierre-Luc Dubois deal, Obes, is going to sting. It's going to sting for a long time.
That's
it's
a couple
sitting on these books for too many years. Yeah, you're going to lose your job. I just think, they do have their cups. They have their banners. They have made the playoffs, although they've been ousted. And a great quote by, Drew Doughty today saying, this isn't a rivalry. They've kicked our ass the last 3 years. Calling it that's calling the kettle black, right?
Totally. I felt bad for them watching them have to shake their hands again. It happened to me 2 years in a row, having to shake fucking Boley and the Blackhawks hands up, dog. I felt bad for Dewey and those boys having to shake their hands again, being like, you kicked our ass again, boys.
Kicked our ass.
It wasn't even close. I will say this. Mikey Anderson, I think he's on a pretty good deal. Matt Waugh's a UFA. I don't know what they're going to do with him, but I think in a perfect world, Mikey Anderson is your fourth defenseman. If you can find someone, Gavrikov I love. If you can find someone to come in and play with Doughty, I know top D-men don't grow on trees up, dog, and that's why I'm not a fucking GM, because it's a hard job. But to me, Mikey Anderson and Drew Doughty, you got to get someone to come in there and play with Doughty. Yeah. That's a fucking legit top pair D. I know the cap and all this shit. That's why you don't give Pierre-Luc Dubois fucking $8 million a year. I don't know. We will see. But they have the foundation to be a playoff team there for years to come. But I think if you're the LA Kings, you want to win a Stanley Cup again, right?
Their final cap space they finished this year with was $1,941.
That is called up against.
I don't even think you could pay a month of Big Canyon dues.
No, that won't get you. That won't even get you a fucking chicken sando for every day Big Canyon.
Not with the interest rates the way they are in the inflation.
Did you guys hear about Dubois for Huberdeau 1-for-1? That's a rumor going around.
That I would do in a heartbeat.
Oh, I mean, I just love Hubie. I'd love to have Hubie out here.
Totally.
Pierre-Luc Dubois is not going to sign off and go on to Calgary. There's no fucking chance. He just got out of Winnipeg, right? He's got to have a no move.
Yeah, good point.
There's no way he's going to Calgary.
What do they say about that, Kyle?
It's just a rumor around the hockey world.
Yeah, I know.
I wouldn't want to go to. I wouldn't want to go up there.
Pierre-Luc Dubois is going to shut down.
He's going to shut that down. He's been to Columbus and Winnipeg. You think he's going to waive his to go to Cowtown? But you can maybe get him to waive it to go play for the Canadians or something. I'd be calling up the old. Who's the
GM to take from there?
I don't know. I'd have to look at the team.
Monahan?
I'd take a D man. I'd take that Matheson.
Monahan. He went to Winnipeg.
I'll tell you, I would take. And this kid, I actually play with him when he was young. I would take Matheson.
But they're not going to give that kid up. He's great.
Nobody wants Pierre-Luc Dubois for 8 bananas. The guy playing the fourth line in the playoffs.
Matheson's a first-round pick for the Panthers.
I know. You asked me who I would want, though. I would take Matheson to play with Doughty.
100%.
New York Islanders, tea times. Listen, Patty Waugh, I think he's the right man for the job. They got in there. I love Marty Barzal, man. I love Matthew Barzal. Sorry, Marty Barzal. I love Matthew Barzal. We all know how I feel about Bo Horvat. Dog, I don't know. This team, to me, I don't know what Sweet Lou is going to do, but I do think they got the right man for the job, and they do have pieces again. And being in that Metro division where, what's going to happen with Philly next year, we all expect the Devils to be better. They have to keep up with them, but I thought them just getting in was a successful year for this squad.
Absolutely. And just shout out to the careers that Cal Clutterbuck and Matt Martin have had there. They both resurrected their careers. They're both UFAs at the end of the year. So what happens with them is to be determined. They've both been character guys. And then my boy, Robert Bertuzzo, who assisted on arguably the biggest goal this year for the New York Islanders.
Guy.
To put the Carolina Hurricanes up against it going home for Game 5.
Yeah, thanks, Bobble.
Didn't matter. Thanks,
no,
Bobble.
But Bobble, that was you getting that assist made the Hurricanes the lock of the century. I took them puck line, money line, every which way. That was a big win for me.
Yeah. So Bobble, well done.
You know where Bobble should sign?
Where should he sign?
Ducks.
He should sign with.
He's got his cup. Come on, give him $2 million or 1.5, whatever he wants.
Yep.
Nice little 3-year deal.
I agree.
Come on out here, Bobble.
Get him a spot.
They need some glue guys.
Spot right here on the podcast.
Alex Killorn needs some help in that room to bring championship veteran guys. Fucking Ziegler sitting courtside at the Knicks game last night. Eh?
Come on.
What a beauty. Yeah,
Is he?
Yeah, I'm like, this kid. Hey,
his chick?
He's over the season already. I guess he was at, I think he was with his chick. He was at Due West with his chick.
Yeah, good for him.
But I think Bob will be a great fit out here in Anaheim.
Big time.
Great fit out here.
Get him on the golf golf tour here with us.
Well, he's got to play hockey.
Get him a nice pad.
Updog's like, get him in the studio, get him play
Get
golf.
him a new car. He's still driving that Tahoe around. That's how good of a guy Bob is. He still drives his Chevy Tahoe.
Listen, Bobo, if you come here, you can't be driving a Tahoe around. We got to get you something like
some convertible. Let his hair.
Like
he finally gets his beard back.
Like an Audi SUV, like Loops has that S7 or whatever it's called. Bobo looking.
He deserves to play in the sunshine too. By the way, he's a lot of years in St. Louis in the Isle.
Good for your skin.
Totally.
Last but not least, on Tea Times here, presented by Adidas Golf, the Winnipeg Jets. Rick Bowness. Bonesy, I love you. I thought you did a hell of a job.
Big time.
Suits look great. Obviously, Hollabaugh didn't play up to his standards, although he did feel like he was playing his best hockey of his life. I think their forward group's fine here, Updog. Besides Morrissey, to me, their D is really, really slow of foot and takes one to know one. I can say that because I was dealing with that throughout my career as well. And listen, you need thumpers back there. I love the size that they have, but when you play a team like the Colorado Avalanche and you see that speed coming towards them, that's why I think Hollabach's numbers weren't very good, because the Avalanche were just getting looks after looks and coming 100 miles an hour. So Kevin Shoveldayoff, if I'm you, I'm trying to bring in a couple defensemen that are a little better with mobility and can move the puck. But other than that, I think they'll be right back there. I love their forward group. I love their captain, Adam Lowry. I fucking love that kid. I want to try to get him on this podcast. And I think their forwards are as good as anyone, Updog, but their back end to me looks slow.
Yeah, I would just say Kyle Connor's all-star. He's he's going to be one of America's top players in the World Cup. It was just how the tides turned when Mark Scheifele started to embellish a little bit in the round. I think it went noticed, and it almost turned the hockey gods against Winnipeg. I mean, I could kind of feel it in the building, and then the Avs went on a mission. They said, fuck this, we're not going to let these guys beat us. We're not going to let the refs beat us. And then you saw the Avalanche take a big, step in that series and take it over. And I think, I just think Scheifele being the assistant captain, he had a great first game. I think he needs to keep his level of play up. I think Ehlers, again, you talk just about this forward group. Ehlers was a guy I didn't really notice so much in the playoffs. And in order for these guys to be contending in the West and get to where they want, they're going to need those guys to kind of pick up that pace.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with all of that, and I love this hockey club too. And if they weren't playing against anyone but my Avs, I would have been betting on them and cheering for them. But Bonesy, keep your head up, buddy. You'll be back. Updog, last but not least here at Missin Curfew, the DraftKings playoff recap presented by
our friends at DraftKings. Presented by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DK and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Get in the game, fella. Get some skins. Get some skin in the game. All right, Updog, you want to talk about Dallas, baby? What do you got?
I sure did. Listen, Stan Coven, okay?
Stank oven,
as Obi thought it was, originally. But
stanky.
I just want to say that the Dallas Stars scouting team, okay, whoever you guys are, I know you probably came from, Detroit. They came over with the GM. What's the GM's name again? He's the guy that cut me last.
Jim Neal.
So Jim Neal, I'm sure he brought some of his, best scouts from his days with Kenny Holland and, drafting fucking Datsuk and Zetterberg and all those boys in Detroit in their day. Well, you guys have found a gem in Stan Coven. He's a water bug out there. He is highly, highly skilled. His work ethic is what's put on display right now, Obes. He's involved in every little scrum. He's getting pucks. His stick is a great stick. He's making great plays. Look at the play he made on Dananoff last night on the 2-on-1 to get them back in the game. He has a 2-on-0 in the middle of the game, passes it back to Dadonov, and I think was at the same time like, fuck, I got to take this. Like, I got to trust my game. I got to have that killer instinct. Yeah. But I just love what this kid is. He's from Kamloops, BC, where I played junior. He played for the Blazers. He was a heart and soul kid there that wore the C. I picture this kid being a captain one day in the NHL. I picture him as a kid that will host the Stanley Cup one day. But between him and Wyatt Johnson, both on entry-level deals, Dallas Stars is the time. This is the time they have right now, because you know what it's like. Every time you see teams win, they have one or two young players that are just coming up and really elevating their game, playing big minutes, being effective. And that's what Dallas has now. So I like this team, and I like where they are. They put themselves in a great spot against a great hockey team in Vegas. And if they make it through this round, heads up.
I got no problem with Dallas winning a Stanley Cup because I'd be happy for Billy Quinn. The only problem is I got no money on him at all.
Yeah.
So it's like, fuck. But listen, by the way, you're talking about young guys. Wyatt Johnson, this kid just sniffs around the net, sniffs it. Like the up dog sniffing around.
What a great line. Him, Bennett, or him, Ben, and fucking Stancup.
Yeah, and listen, Jamie Benn is playing like he realizes that the runway is getting short. This could be his last and best chance. He's playing like a beast, man. No visor, just playing like a beast. We will see. Canucks Preds, I'm saying it goes 7 up dog. What are you saying? You think it's going 7 or no?
I want Vancouver to make it through. I want to get up there. I want to see the Roxy get excited. I want to see you up there in your element, bud. I would take Nashville too, but
yeah, we could go to Smashville.
I know. Just let's go Canucks. Come on, we are all Canucks. Let's get this done and then face off against Edmonton next round.
We can go to Dallas in the second round too if we want to.
Sure can.
Yeah, and then I'm going to say Vegas wins Game 6 and force the Game 7. They're not going to lose on home ice. They're Stanley Cup champs, and I will say this about the Edmonton Oilers who knocked out the LA Kings. If you're Connor McDavid and Draisaitl and you're sitting back in your fucking mansion in Edmonton today, and you're looking at what's going down here, and you look at Vancouver, Nashville, okay, Vancouver's under third-string goalie. Nashville doesn't have the talent. And then you're going to have to go through Colorado or Dallas or maybe Vegas. It's a pretty good path for them. I mean, they got to be sitting at home right now pretty excited about, listen, boys, this is our chance. This is our chance to win the West and get to the final. So, up dog, time will tell. It'll be interesting. Uppy, we got a beauty guest coming up, a guy that means a lot to you and a guy I think is great for hockey. We got Tyson Nash coming up right now.
Fella.
Welcome back to Missin Curfew. Up dog, obviously no secret, what went on in the desert this year, and this was a guy that I loved when he called a telecast. Always looking good, good suits on, national leaguer. So I wanted to have him on. So Tyson Nash, thanks for joining us, buddy. I know you've been going through a lot of stuff, buddy, but thanks for taking the time, my man.
Oh, thank you. I just put the house up for sale, so not a lot going on right now in Arizona. My goodness, I'm happy to be talking hockey.
You haven't felt this bad till someone ran your dog over, I bet. You're like, what the fuck?
I mean, you guys know. You played there, right?
Totally.
It's one of the best cities in the world. And the NHL, Gary Batman, they gave us a gift by giving us an NHL team, and we lost it. And it's so sad. I mean, the fans that were crying the other night, the parking attendants, the security guards. I mean, jobs have been lost. And again, it's like the team is gone. And obviously great for Salt Lake and Utah, and it's incredible. But, I mean, to lose an NHL team here in the Valley is just it's just devastating. And I think this will be a big black hole for a long time here.
Yeah, Nasher, I just want to go back to, there's been so many times in the course of, 15 years. I look back to in 2008, 2009, I got traded there from Philly. The first summer I'm there, I'm over in Switzerland with Donor and with Matthew Lombardi. We're playing World Championships. And across the ticker is like, the Coyotes are bankrupt and the NHL is taking them over and going to pay all their bills. And the owners are, the other 30 owners are going to, basically chip in and make this work. And then fast forward to the arena deal and moving out of Glendale. But it just seems like it's been one thing after another. Ownership groups that come in and don't work. And then, when you look back at it all, and you've been retired there, you were a Coyote when you played, you've been working with the team now 15 plus years. What is it? Can you put your finger on one thing that unfortunately is like the reason, or is it just like this stretch of unfortunate events that just have led us to losing the Coyotes there?
It's a million different things. I mean, you can't really put your finger on one thing, but if I was going to do that, and I'll tell you, when I was with the St. Louis Blues, I just got called up. I got called up for Game 7 against the Coyotes in America West Arena. And I walk in the building. I got there just in time for the game. I got called up on the Worcester Ice Cats after we got eliminated from the playoffs. The plane lands. I'm in Arizona for the first time in my life. There is palm trees. The sun is shining. It is absolutely beautiful. I walk into the rink, and I see that whiteout. I mean, you guys saw the whiteout the other night in Winnipeg. I mean, we stole that from them. We replicated it. Absolutely. I mean, it was unbelievable. I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is insane. You can play in the desert. I mean, this is what's going on. I mean, I'd never seen anything like it. So that's where I was like, one day I want to play here, because I was with the Blues at the time. And I'm there, one day I want to play here. When I got traded to Arizona, I was the happiest guy in the world, because at the time we were still in America West, and our crowds were incredible. You walk outside afterwards, you got palm trees, you got some of the most beautiful restaurants in the world. And then they had a bright idea. It doesn't work there. How about we move it into the middle of nowhere, into another city? Now, I'm not a developer. I'm not a builder by any means, but I even knew that was not going to work. The middle of a farmer's field, they put a rink. And what? To save some money, because the city paid for it, or a big chunk of it at least. And from that moment on, I think after a year, or not even a year, it was like month 3 or 4, our crowd started to die off. Our team was in another rebuild, right? I mean, it's been rebuild after rebuild here. And the building was empty, and it's been a ghost town really ever since. It never worked out in Glendale. You move cities. Like, it'd be like taking the Edmonton Oilers and moving them out to Beaumont. I mean, look what happens in Ottawa. It doesn't even work in Ottawa. It's the same model, and it doesn't work there. And whoever thought it was going to work here is, it's just a shame. And that's kind of where things went wrong. They found out we were trying to, find a new rink to play because it didn't work in Glendale. We wanted to move it to Tempe. They rip up the 14-year lease that we had remaining. And then obviously the Mullett is the Mullett. that terrible experience for the players, for everyone involved, besides if you're watching Connor McDavid and other great skill players we have in the league from 13 rows off the ice, which it's good, for 1 year, but you can see why the NHL took it away. I mean, it doesn't last long term. And what are we, 4 or 5 years away, even if he does get the land out in North Phoenix. So that, to me, guys, is where things went wrong when that was built out in Glendale.
Yeah, Nasher, let's go back. Like, obviously, I think Gary Bettman in the NHL, I think he tried everything he could do, right? And everyone loves the desert, and no one wanted to see the Coyotes leave. I think you could throw Gary in there. But do you think the reason he made it try was because he fucked it up so much by saying we can go to Glendale? And I don't know who the guy was, but how could Gary Bettman be like, okay, this makes sense for the league. Let's move it out to the middle of nowhere when we got a downtown barn that's absolutely rocking. Like, I think you got to put it on Bettman a little bit, because that blunder there was why we are here today.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that didn't even cross my mind. I think just because everyone in the Valley thought that everything was booming out that way, right? And things were going to, grow up around that rink, like in a hurry, almost overnight. And I think that's obviously what Gary Bettman was told, and it just never happened. Obviously we went through a real downturn as the economy did in the U.S. in 06, 07. The real estate market crashed, and that was more of the sad part is the ownership group at that time, that was never about a hockey team. That was about a real estate play. And that is the crappy thing about it, is that the team was really last on the consideration list, because they just thought, we're going to make so much money with the real estate, with all the restaurants, bars, everything around it. It never really was about the hockey team. And I get it. It's just so sad. But Gary Bettman did everything he could to keep this team here as long as he could. And we've had every mayor, we've had every politician just absolutely sticking it to the Coyotes year after year. And I don't understand it, because now they're all in a full-on pan. They're like, we were just joking. We didn't mean that. We didn't want Morelos, not a rookie developer, like blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's too late. You guys are you're clowns. Now you just lost your hockey team. Now you just lost 41 nights a year of entertainment. That's what you lost. All the money that goes into the community from the charities that the Coyotes donated, the kids' cancer, Make-A-Wish Foundation, that is all gone. And it, to me, is the saddest thing in the world.
I go back to this Glendale thing. I'm in Nashville. We leave Glendale, and this is how I know this. There was no development out there. Do you remember the golf course community guys used to stay at, like when you come into play if you didn't stay in Glendale? It wasn't too far away. It was like these
Eco or something.
Yeah, so it was something. So I'm with the Preds, and we leave the barn, and we're driving through like this gnarly area, and sure as shit, guys like, that's a fucking shotgun sound. I'm like, what? And we look out the window, and there's these two SUVs chasing each other, shooting like a shotgun at each other. And we're like, duck. And I swear to God, one of the bullets, the shrapnel, you call it, hits the side of our bus, right? And then they fly through this gas station, and they just take it off shooting at each other. I go, where the fuck are we? Like, what? Why are we out here?
This is an old town, eh? This is an old town. Fuck,
right? So
we took a wrong turn now. Fuck.
I'm like, I call it as it is at the time. I actually played in a game at the old Airlines Arena too back when I was a rookie. But now we're in Glendale, and this is like my third or fourth year in the league. I'm like, why are we out here? This is not the Scottsdale or the Phoenix I remember. This is
such a bad play,
And then not to mention just all the driving that these players had to do over the years for a morning skate. You're driving 50 minutes out to the barn. Like, come on, it doesn't work. So anyway, I needed that fucking shotgun thing came to me. I'm like, what are we doing?
That was a bad omen.
Whose idea is this?
You were looking for the bottle service.
Yeah, totally. I'm like,
I was like, get me out of here. I got 5 chicks.
I can't stay out till 4 a.m. in this shithole. There's no chance.
Hey, Nashra, and listen, buddy, I love the way you called the game in color and say what you want about the mullet. It was fun to watch. But when throughout this year did you guys kind of realize like, this is going to hit the fan here and we may have lost this hockey club? Was it something that was talked about halfway through the year? Did you hear about it 2 days before the last game? What was it like from that aspect?
Oh, man, honestly, we didn't have a clue. I completely felt like I got punched right in the gut. And call me crazy. Maybe I should have known. I mean, people have been saying it for years, right? It's time to go. This is, you name it. People have said it. Media. No one bashes on the Coyotes more than the media. And I've been defensive forever because I do feel like it's an absolute shame because if the rink was in the right area and if they would have put the rink in Scottsdale like the plan was after, year 3 or 4, we wouldn't be here right now. We wouldn't be having this conversation. And that comes down to politics. That comes down to the mayor at the time. And unfortunately, we ended up in the worst case scenario, which is moving the team. But on that road trip, you always remember, right? I mean, it was a couple games before the season ended. I knew like you guys knew. I mean, I felt so betrayed, and because you knew it was going on somewhat behind the scenes. And I know it happened fast and this deal came together really quickly. But I always thought at the worst, we would have one more year to kind of get our ducks in a row maybe before they did pull the rug if our owner didn't get the land. I mean, I'm the ultimate optimist. I thought our owner was going to get the land. I thought Tempe was going to get done. And I mean, the rest would be history because I truly believe like when I first arrived here, that it could have been that again, but in a proper rink that seated 17,000, 18,000 people with unobstructed views. And obviously that's not going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen in the next 5 years. I sure hope it does for Arizona. But Salt Lake, they got one hell of a hockey club, and they should be very proud.
Yeah, Nasher, I want to talk to you about some of the boys on the club. But listen, so the Scottsdale thing, the mayor of Scottsdale, me and Updog do a podcast. We see this new drawing of a new rink that's going to go on the 101 highway or the 110 or whatever. Yeah. I'm like, this is a beautiful barn. This is unbelievable. I'm out teeing it up at Big Canyon. I see this quote from the Scottsdale mayor that this is never going to happen. I don't want this. I'm like, why? Like, who is, like, what's this guy all about, Nash? I didn't quite get it. Like, that day, he's like, fuck that. We're not doing this.
Well, and that, right? I mean, that drawing came out 2 days before the announcement that we were gone to Salt Lake. Yeah. So we're all sitting there like, what? I just posted all over social media about this new building and facility and how great it's going to be. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, you're moving, or at least the hockey team's moving. We don't want to rink there. This is a joke. Can't happen. I'm like, what do you think is going to go there? What's next? If Mr. Morello doesn't buy that land and one of the most insane entertainment districts, restaurants, bars, all the things that area needs, someone else is going to buy it. And it's going to be laughable because there are so many people moving here, and that is going to be all apartments. That's going to be all housing. And then you want to talk about congestion because someone's buying that land. It's some of the most sought after land in all of Arizona. So it's such a joke.
Yeah. Hey, Nash, like when I think of Scottsdale, I think of, the waste management and Old Town and how great it is for golf and nightlife and cougs everywhere. But I was watching
You're exactly right.
Yeah,
Actually.
I was watching Mike Wilbon on Pardon My Take and or PTI, sorry, and he lives in Scottsdale. And he said, I love hockey, but no way I want a rink there. And I thought, well, okay, maybe there is older people there. Is that the problem that like some of these snowbirds from Canada come down, or these older people that retire there? Was that a problem? Because I never thought about it from that perspective. I just thought Old Town, Cougs, Mastro.
Oh, yeah.
Butter cake.
The old guy, does he want to drive to Gila River again? I mean, do you want to drive in the middle of a field, or do you want to be in the heart of the city? And for me, I want to be in the heart of the city. If the Phoenix Suns, they wanted to move up this way, how do you even have the time to go out there and vote? Like, do you care that much? I mean, all I'm thinking is like, oh, my value is going to be that much more where I live. I mean, DC Ranch, all these areas are going to absolutely pop up because now you're driving 10 minutes down the highway to an entertainment district, to a concert, to a hockey game, instead of 45 or an hour out to the Cardinals football game. So I don't know. People, they're going to be in for one because something is going on that massive parcel of land if it's not a hockey rink, and they're not going to be happy about it.
Call it, the employees and all that, but like you touched on it earlier, the alumni that have stuck around, the Arizona and did the ice den, the practice rink that's there. You guys, you go skate there with the boys once a week, and you got everyone like, Whitney, Donor, all the guys have stuck around and created that, that atmosphere. How nice is it for a young kid to go to a hockey rink and see ex-NHL legends there with their kids and their families? And, that to me is where you can't duplicate that now going to Utah. That's not happening in Utah. You don't have alumni kicking around there. And that's what's sad. It's sad when we relocate. I don't mind adding, but when something fails, it's like, come on. We all take responsibility for it, but it's just sad.
And it shouldn't have failed.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't have failed. That's the thing. We spent 28 years here, like building this up from the bottom. Kids didn't play hockey here before.
I know.
Like, you should see the players that were pumping out of the state because of it, because they went and watched Shane Doan, Keith Tkachuk, Teppo Newman, and Rick Tocchet. I mean, that's where it started. The best player in the world, almost, in Austin Matthews, he fell in love with the game. He could have played baseball. He could have played golf. He's an athlete. He could have done anything. He chose hockey because he went and watched Daniel Briere and Shane Doan.
Yeah.
And that is gone now. And that's the sad part. The roots are so deep, though, that hockey is going to carry on here in Desert for a long time. Eventually, there will become a time when they will have a dip because there's no team to watch. There's no NHL team to watch. And that's, again, the saddest part of it all. It just should never, ever have failed.
Yeah, nice. I want to kind of tag that alumni question because the last game the other night, the Mullett, my boy Brad Richardson went. There was a bunch of other ex-Coyotes. Like, is there any talk to keep the alumni going for the guys who live there that in case there's a team that comes back, or just keep the alumni kind of doing their thing for minor hockey? Has there been any talks about that, or is it still too early?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't even answer your question. But
No, you did.
Oh,
Yeah.
The alumni here is as strong as any alumni in the league.
Yeah.
We take guys from all over the league as well, not just Coyote guys, but that's going to carry on. These guys are so solid. No one from the alumni is going anywhere. They get together. They got a great setup down at the Mullett. They got a locker room there. JJ Watt comes out there and skates with the boys. So it's a very important time as well, because that's where everyone kind of comes together and you talk and you help each other out. And guy needs to move. Well, you got 5 guys right there that are going down the street to help them with that. A business, like all of it, right, happens in that locker room. I don't miss playing, but I miss being with the guys in the locker room, and we do that with the alumni. But again, to your point, Uppy, about you walk into a rink here, you got Shane Doan, you got Sean Burke, you got Derek Morris, Ray Whitney, Taylor Pyatt, Dallas Drake. These guys are all Sean Hill. These guys are all coaching their kids and other kids. I mean, that doesn't exist anywhere on this planet. And that's what we have again here in Arizona. And Salt Lake, that's what they're going to have to build. They're going to have to start from, they're not starting from the basement. I heard the hockey actually is pretty decent there as far as kids signing up and playing, but it's going to take time there. And obviously they have the right ownership group to do it.
Yeah, Nash, last one for me about trying to keep the O to the desert. Like, I look at the Phoenix Suns playing downtown. Now, I'm sure their arena's made for basketball. It's not perfect for hockey. But was there ever any way that you could go to the Suns and be like, hey, we're going to play here. We're going to build a rink downtown. Like, to me, there was never any conversation between, hey, can we play in your building while we get this figured out? Was there just a butting of heads there, or what was going on with the Suns building?
Yeah, so, I mean, Sarver was the owner there forever, right? And he absolutely hated the Coyotes for whatever reason. That was always exactly this, right? It was a butting of the heads, wanted nothing to do with it. Now that ownership has changed with the Suns, I mean, I think that has to be a hope that maybe, whether it's the Morello group and the Suns, they come together finally. Because it works, right? It works everywhere around the U.S. I mean, every team typically that has a basketball team has a hockey team. Yeah. It's just a perfect fit, and it can work. So, I mean, the Kings, they got 3 teams playing out of that building, and it still works. So, I think that could be a real big possibility. But I know Mr. Morello, I mean, he called me the other night, and obviously I'm in the media, so he probably wants to get it out there. But he told me, he goes, I'm buying that land. I just am. I'm buying the land, and I'm going to build this thing. And in 5 years, it's probably going to take me a full 5 years, but I'm going to bring the Coyotes back to market. And I don't know. So it could happen.
You know what? Maybe that's not the worst thing, right? Like you said when Uppy asked you, there's been a million things up, dog. Maybe we just take a little breather here, right? That guy buys the land, he starts building a brand new rink, and everyone just misses hockey in the desert. And you said all those great alumni are still there. Maybe, Nasher, this could be a good thing. Start fresh, get rid of that kind of stank that's been on them, unfortunately, and maybe in 5 years we can do it. That would be awesome.
When you look at all the work that we've done and put in to this 28 years here, and Gary Bettman's all about business, right? I mean, this guy hasn't really made a bad move, and he's now got a team in Salt Lake which deserves a team, which everyone's excited about this team. The ownership group there is, I mean, unbelievable. Young, he's ran a successful basketball team there, so that's speaking for itself. They have a team now, and now in 5 years, you let the dust settle, you build the rink that needs to be built, and you put all the pieces in place to make it work here. Because it can work here. The alumni that's out in the community these days, and you get the right ownership group that wants to spend money and wants to build a winning team, because that's the other thing you need here. You need a winner. There's so many things to do in Arizona. You have to be successful.
Dude, and we're bummed, man. Like, I had Austin Matthews. When they had the Tempe plans coming out, we thought we were going to get the rink in Tempe. I'm like, fucking Matthews is going to sign a bridge deal in Toronto, and he's coming to Arizona. He'll bring whoever he wants there, and there's going to be a Stanley Cup there before Matthews is done. And then all of a sudden, it's like, now the team is gone. So we feel the pain as well, Nasher. But I want to ask you about a couple key pieces. And once again, I love watching your telecast this year, Nasher. You're honest, you bring energy, but you got some good young players there. Clayton Keller, a guy who I absolutely love. Great kid. We're at the All-Star game. He's in Toronto, and he's having dinner with his mom. Just sitting there having a nice dinner, being a good kid. I'm like, fuck, if I was in Toronto in the All-Star game, I'd be doing a lot of things, but dinner with my mom is probably not one of them. But just talk about him day to day and what people can expect out of Kells, because he's a great talent.
Oh, and that's the saddest part about it, is that the team is gone. This team is gone. A team that, I've been around for 17 years broadcasting, and thank you for the compliments. I love what I do. So maybe you can put a good word in with Ryan and Ashley, the ownership group at Salt Lake, because I am unemployed and it's doesn't feel so good. But Keller he's an absolute stud. I mean, this guy's a 4-time All-Star for a reason. Hasn't had a lot of pieces around him either to really work with. As far as offensive guys go, when you look at a guy like, Austin Matthews, not taking anything away from him, but man, he's got a talented crew around him, right? And Kells just hasn't had that. And he's still been able to put up, decent numbers. But I think as these young kids like Logan Cooley and Dylan Gunther, and these two kids, you guys, are absolute studs. I mean, that Dylan Gunther, this guy is a competitor. He's a battler. Some of the stages, the big stages that he's already played on, and, scoring that, overtime game-winning goal for Team Canada. I mean, that's just the start of it, right? So those are the pieces. Once they start to really hone their game, and now Clayton Keller has all these pieces, the numbers, he'll be a 100-point guy. There's no question about it. So lots to be excited about in Salt Lake, getting these players, because they put you certainly on the edge of your seat every night.
Yeah, and the last one for me it's the other end of the spectrum here. It's the big Tuna, Liam O'Brien, a kid that, man, you want to talk about a kid who doesn't take shifts off and gets out there and competes and fights anyone, and has gotten better as a player, Nasher. But just watching him over the years and how better he's gotten, how hard he plays, he's going to be a great player in Utah.
Yeah, oh man, they're gonna love him. They're gonna love him. Utah, just because he led the NHL in penalty minutes this year, I believe, in fights too. He's a gamer. He'll fight absolutely anyone, and he knows he's not going to win them all, but he steps up, when the time calls. And that's why Andre Turney, the coach here, who, by the way, is one of the best coaches in the NHL, how he develops young players, how he communicates with his players, and he doesn't care if you're Clayton Keller or you're Liam O'Brien. If O'Brien has it that night, he might play 15, 16 minutes. I mean, he doesn't care. And, I think that's also why they've had a history together before in junior, and Liam O'Brien has followed Andre Turney around everywhere he's gone because he's such a great team player.
A little bit about a kid that we watched grow up, like right under our nose, Josh Doan, right? So was he a surprise to you coming into play that early for your team, or was it like the right time? And what an epic way to jump in and score in front of his hometown, in front of his family, in front of his old man, a place where he grew up. But maybe just a little bit about his first taste of the NHL.
Honestly, one of the best moments in Coyotes history, if you're asking me, maybe besides Shane Doan having his jersey retired in the rafters. I mean, this is Shane Doan's son. And I'm sitting there going, can you imagine the pressure on this kid? I mean, you're nervous anyway. And all of a sudden, all eyes are on Josh Doan in this game, in the city, around the league. Because I think there was a lot of people, a lot of media, unfortunately, that were like, oh, he's only drafted, because of Shane Doan, the last name on his jersey. But yet, everywhere this kid has gone, whether it was with the Chicago Steel, to ASU as their captain, and then to Tucson Road Bars, where he was leading in scoring at the time, all he's done is produce and deliver. And he came up to the NHL, but I was a little nervous for him. I'm like, this is a ton of pressure on anyone, let alone a rookie in this league with the last name Doan. And the guy goes out, he scores, and then he scores again. I'm like, this is absolutely nuts. And he follows it up the next game with another 2-point night. I mean, he's literally 3 or 4 games into his career, and he's over a point a game. He finished with 9 points in 10 games or something. I mean, which is just remarkable. And again, another great young product, a young stud that Bill Armstrong has brought in. He kind of took a chance on him, picking him early in the second round, but boy, is it paid dividends. And again, he's an unreal kid. So he's going to change the culture of this group that I think needs a little help, because he is identical to his old man.
Yeah, I loved when they showed Shane in the suite at the Mullett, and then I don't know who was the guy that took his tarp off behind Donor. He had his tarp off. He's going bucked in. I'm like, this is great for hockey.
Donor needs a bodyguard.
It's unbelievable. I'm like, who is this beauty?
There was a lot of women asking the same question. I could tell
yeah,
you that,
no shit.
I thought it was Hacksaw Gift Duggan at first. I was like,
oh my God, that guy doesn't miss chest day. Oh, fucking shoulders. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Hey, you know what, though, Nasher? What a blessing for, Josh to be able to play, we look at this now and it sucks that the team leaves, but had he not have been able to wear the jersey, it would have been pretty shitty, right? But he did. He got to play 11 games. He had a great start. He only played average 12 minutes a night, but fucking rights. I know what that's like when you produce.
I hope he didn't have 9 points in 10 games. So
when you could go out and produce, though, I mean, hell, I hope he had a good time after those games, because we definitely would have, but like a blessing in disguise, right? That he got to put the jersey on.
Yeah, wouldn't that have been a shame? Like to your point, if he never got called up, I mean, he never would have played it, and that story goes away, right? And the other sad part is the story still kind of does go away, sadly, because, and Shane, I talked to him about that. He goes, listen, this is not about me. Donor. It's never about him.
Yeah.
But in this case, but I am kind of sad. Like my jersey's hanging in the rafters. Or it was until someone delivered it to him in basically a garbage bag the other night.
No way.
No.
After that last game, and
I got issues with that. That's brutal.
All he did for the Coyotes all those years, all those charity events. I mean, it's not all for nothing, but it's kind of gone away now, right? Now that the team is gone, and it's a sad thing.
Appreciate you taking the time. I know this wasn't easy, but we wanted to get you on because we're big fans of yours and everything you've done. How was the shaker at the Mullett? I watched the last game. I'm like, fuck, this could go on for 3 days here. How late did you guys stay there, and how'd you keep it rocking? And like, would you guys hang out at the Mullett a long time or right to Old Town? How'd it go?
Hey, anytime you guys want me on, I got all the time in the world right now, sadly. So, I as a broadcaster, it was such a out of the box, just a different type of game for us because we knew what was going to happen at the end, right? We knew this was it. I mean, driving to the rink, what suit to put on that night? I mean, you're like, well, what do I do? Do it, we all came basically unemployed, when that last buzzer went, and it was sad. I mean, I got to be honest. I had tears in my eyes, rolling down my cheeks. In fact, Stan Wilson was the same way, the Coyotes trainer. So many fans, behind me and all around the rink, and no one wanted to go home because no one wanted this to happen, right? And that's the saddest part of it all, is that it shouldn't have happened, and it did, and maybe it comes back, but I mean, there's no guarantees. It was a tough broadcast to do because you've never done one like that, right? You're sticking to business, you're sticking to goals and assists and fights, and all of a sudden you got to articulate, what you're feeling in your heart and what you've, done for me for 22 years, Ali, as a player and a broadcaster. So it was hard to put that headset down and actually have to walk away. And honestly, the toughest part for me was driving out of the parking lot and saying goodbye to Mark, the parking attendant, and knowing that I might not ever see him again.
Yeah. No, listen, you did an absolute great job. The whole organization, your whole production team was great. The way you guys did it, you absolutely killed it. The fans that were there were awesome. And don't worry, fella, you won't be unemployed for too long because you're great for the game. So we appreciate you taking the time.
Hey, just one more thing. Who cried more, you or Walshy? Because he's a tearjerker. I know he is. It's like probably him going to his last Rolling Stones show. He's like, oh, my God, this is so sad.
I know. He's a beauty, man. One of the best in business. Our whole crew, right?
Yeah.
And that's the human element. That's like people holding the cameras and the security guys, and to know that it's over for all of us. Just so sad, Walshy included.
New chapters.
Yeah, we'll keep the Coyotes going, fella. We won't let people forget about them. And with alumni like you, build that new barn, and we'll be back in the league before you know it. But Nasher, keep your head up, buddy. You're great for the game, buddy, and thank you so much, my man.
Thanks, fellas.